What's up, guys? I am headed to Miami in November. There's a new festival. It's called Time to Drive. It's combining cars and watches. I'm not sure why this hasn't happened yet. However, this is the first time that it's happening and I'm going to be there. And today I'm going to be talking about 5 things that I'm excited to see at Time to Drive Miami in November. So it's November 6th to the 8th. I'll put all of the details down in the description. 4 of the items are watches. 1 is a car. There are obviously way more cars that I would like to talk about here, but this is a watch channel. So let's focus on the watches. Let's talk about Time to Drive Miami. Before I get into the video, I want to talk a little bit about Time to Drive and what's going to be going on. There's going to be food, there's going to be cars, and there's going to be watches. They're actually going to have some major watch brands there, and they're going to have some independent brands as well. There's going to be a gourmet food section, and there's going to be vintage watches. And then, of course, lots of cars. It's an enormous convention space, so there will be a lot going on. Gotham Watch Club will be there in attendance. We will actually have our own booth, and I will be hanging out throughout the entire weekend. I'm going to be doing some panels and maybe a podcast. So stop by, say hello. If you're not in the Miami area, try and get down there for the event. If you are, obviously you need to come out for this event. It's going to be incredible. So getting right into it, there are a number of watches that I want to see, and there are a number of cars that I want to see, but because this is a watch channel, we're going to talk about mostly watches in this video. I might do a separate video about just cars in the near future. First watch that I am really dying to see. It's a watch that I have had on my radar for a long time. It's really a brand. They're called Lorige, and they have come out with what I think is one of the coolest car racing inspired watches that you can buy right now. Those who are interested in brands like Richard Mille should take a look at this brand. What they are making are watches that have cases and dials made from reprocessed carbon brakes from historic cars like a Ferrari 550 GTS. And they are actually manufacturing cases and dials from those brakes. I've heard of other brands using metals and melting them down and doing things like that, but this is an actual part that is being machined into a watch. It's really cool. It's a very, very different idea. And of course, these are high horology watches, 168 hours of power reserve, in-house calibers, and you're getting a tonneau shaped case. And that's why I'm saying if you're interested in a Richard Mille, maybe you want to check out Lorige because they are making some very interesting watches that I think are cool. And they're also thin, 10 millimeters thick, 42 millimeters. These aren't big brash watches going overboard with their designs. These are really good looking designs and they are very cool watches. Maurice Lacroix will be in the house down at Time to Drive Miami. One of the more affordable brands that will be in attendance. There aren't that many. There are a lot of independent brands that will be there. And of course, I am very excited about that. But one of their coolest watches, one of their best watches that I think that they have made in a long time, it is the 1975 Master Grandate Retrograde. It's in their 1975 case, which I think is really, really cool. It gets a very, very boxed, domed sapphire crystal. It's not skeletonized. However, all of the mechanism controlling that Grandate and that retrograde is all exposed on the front, and it looks fantastic. You get the big date right below the 12 o'clock and then the retrograde at the 6 o'clock position. All of the complications, like I said, you could see it all working on the front. 42 millimeters stainless steel case, 50 meters of water resistance, and this comes in at $9,200. This looks like a watch that costs in the tens of thousands of dollars. And that's the reason why I'm really excited to see this watch hands-on when I'm at Time to Drive, because this is not something that I was able to see before, and I am very excited to see it finally in person. Okay, I'm going to take you back to 1995 when Bad Boys came out. If you guys don't remember Bad Boys, it was a cop movie with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. It was hilarious. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of car chases. It was directed by Michael Bay. It was a little bit cheesy, but there was a lot of cool scenes in it, and one of the coolest cars that you will ever see on the big screen, a 964 Turbo, was basically the main character. At least it was the main character for me. It is one of the reasons why I was so in love with Porsche. I was in love with Porsche back then. I am still in love with Porsche today. I own a 1999 996 that I have owned for well over 20 years, going on almost 24 years. I bought it very shortly after it came out, and I've had it ever since. It's been a little bit of a ride with the 996, but mine is in really good condition. I have driven it almost 76,000 miles, and I don't plan on ever selling it. I'll throw up a picture of it. I have it wrapped in yellow, and it also has a GT3 kit on it, so it looks like a GT3. It is not. It is a 996 C2 rear-wheel drive, and that is it. It does have some sports seats. It looks amazing. And like I said, this was one of the cars that influenced me back then. It made me fall more in love with Porsche, even though I was always in love with Porsche. And this is just a car that I really want to see. Next watch I want to talk about is a watch that I have always loved. I have seen it in person once or twice, and I have always had this watch on my list, my short list of watches that I want to own. It is the Globetrotter from Arnold & Son. Now, I think Arnold & Son in general are extremely underrated watches, but specifically the Globetrotter, I think is one of the most underrated Arnold & Sons. I think it's one of the most underrated watches right now for a number of reasons. But the main reason is because I think they were sort of pioneers in making this crazy, over-the-top sculpture for the wrist. And it really wasn't being done that often back then. There were a few brands that made globes for the wrist, but they took it to a new level. The specific one that I want to see is the one with the green dial. It gets green and gold. It is gorgeous. Hours and minutes are indicated by 2 arrows that are tucked under that globe. And then you get a 24-hour ring that indicates world time. The OG one was very over the top. It was a little bit too big. Now they are making these much smaller. So this one's around 42 millimeters. I think 42 millimeters is a perfect size for this watch. You get that bridge that goes across that globe, and then you have a huge domed sapphire crystal. These are awesome, and you never see these on anybody's wrist, and it's a shame because they are so cool. Last but not least, and definitely not the cheapest watch on this list, it is Dominic Renault. This is a watch that I've wanted to see for a very long time because of its shape and, of course, its beat rate. I am secretly obsessed with slow movements, a 1 hertz movement. This gets a giant balance wheel. It is 20 millimeters, and you get 1 oscillation per second. So all of that is happening on the dial side, which I think is so cool. The whole thing is in grade 5 titanium. You get a beautiful sapphire crystal. It's sort of like an integrated bracelet watch. It looks like it would wear big, but I believe it's only 42 millimeters. So I'm hoping these don't wear giant. I think 42 millimeters is perfect. It's really in my wheelhouse. I think it's perfect because I have a 7.5 inch wrist, and I am very excited to see these watches. They are expensive, so they're around $59,000, but you are getting a very, very cool watch, something that you do not see every day. And this is just one of those watches that I have wanted to see in person for a very long time. So I will definitely be heading over to Dominic Renault to see these watches while I'm there. So you can see they sort of have a wide range of different prices at Time to Drive, and there will be some really cool, some historic cars, famous cars on display. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And if you want to meet me, I'll be there, and there'll be plenty of other really cool, famous people there. I think Matt Farah and a lot of car celebrities will be there. And then, of course, a lot of people in the watch industry. It's basically going to be a big party. Anyway, guys, that's really it. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments below. If you're going, let me know in the comment section below. I want to hear from you guys. Of course, I think it's going to be an incredible time, and I am very excited to meet everyone who comes out and hangs out down in Miami on November 6th to the 8th. Like I said, I'll be there, so definitely look out for me. Come by, say hello, I'm very excited to meet you guys. Anyway, that's really it, guys. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Thanks for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.